I saw in a small regional newspaper about 2 days ago that there was a writers' gathering. And their first day together, they were their topic of discussion was, before a word is written, the creative process revealed. And I'm thinking probably in a lot of professions it's something similar, but specifically for a writer, what creative process can a writer take deliberately to benefit their writing process in writing a book?
Well, when you realize that we're assuming most writers are wanting to write from an inspired point of view. In other words, it's a really rare person who has been moving through life and has been gathering up pieces of information, and now they just want to put all of those pieces of information together for, in other words, most of you are not writing users' manuals for toasters. And most of those who write them haven't used the toaster yet, in other words. And so most writers are reaching for something that's inspired. And the thing that we would like to say to anyone who's wanting to write anything is just gather together a handful of characters, define who they are, put them in a setting, and let them talk to each other. And if you understand that, and if you believe that, they will speak through you. Because there isn't anything that you would like to write about that there isn't plenty of experience that is ready to pour through you in a way that is meaningful. And so that's the way we would approach it. That's what inspiration is. This is a particularly wonderful conversation because writers, if they've been at it for a while, understand what they call writer's block is, where sometimes it flows and it's so easy, and sometimes it doesn't flow so easily or maybe even at all. And we want to say to a larger group all around the world of deliberate creators, you often have living block. You often have life block. You often have that disallowance that is going on where you're just not allowing the inspiration. And what that is, every single time, we can define it for you so clearly. You're standing in a place where you believe incorrectly that there is someone outside of you evaluating you and judging you. And so you are offering your behavior based upon what their impression of what you are doing will be, rather than upon how your synthesized emotional guidance system alignment between you and who you really are is. And so everything that we've been talking about has been about the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is the opposite to what a writer's block is. And the path of least resistance is in harmony with what inspiration is. And so, as it turns out, with writing or with living of a day of life in any way, this is the thing that we want to say to all of you. It's all about the preparation. Stay with us. We're going to give it to you fully. Friends say, Abraham, I've jumped out of an airplane. I have no parachute. What do you think I should do next? And we say, hang on, it will be over in a little bit. Because the preparation is sort of paramount. The fact that you're in an airplane, you've jumped from the airplane, and you have no parachute sort of dominates the situation here. You get what we're saying? So if you've just had a fight with your wife, and you haven't liked her for the last 10 years anyway, and you have a long list of things about her that annoy you, and you let how you feel about her be the factor that influences the way you feel about most things. So you're all wadded up and not in sync with your source at all. When you sit to write, it's going to be bound up. It's the preparation, you see. If you are on the basketball court and you're irritated about the referee's bad call, and you've convinced yourself that he really is in the pocket of the other team, and you really believe that, and you're feeling the injustice of that, you're all bound up. And what you do next is going to be reflected by that. You see what we're getting at? It's the preparation. It's how you feel. You got to practice yourself into feeling. You can't just observe life in all of its variety, pluses and minuses, pros and cons, wanted and unwanted, and have your vibration be about all of those things, and then step suddenly into a clear place where what you say is going to be inspired. It doesn't work like that. It's the preparation. It's how many walks you take, and how many deep breaths you've taken, and how much you've quieted your mind and therefore stopped the resistance. It's how much you're allowing your cork to float. It's the preparation, you see. And it's not a lot of preparation. We're talking about 30 days, really, of deciding that you are an extension of Source energy, and that Source has something to say, and that Source is really unlimited and will talk to you about anything that it matters to you, and that Source is particularly expertise on the things that you have defined that are important to you, and that they're all queued up in your vortex, and that anything that you want is ready to unfold, ready to be revealed, ready to be realized by you in a really satisfying way. And so it's about the preparation. It's not about what you do at work. It's how you felt going to work. It's not about how wise you were in a debate that you had with someone. It's how much love you had in your heart going into the debate. It isn't only about the agility and talent that you've trained your body to perform. It's about your attitudinal stance prior to the performance. It's the pre-paving. It's the alignment. It's the practice of the energy. We talked for quite a while about law of attraction, and we said to you, you get what you think about whether you want it or not, and you liked that to a certain extent, but then you couldn't really get your thoughts around it completely. And then we began explaining to you that when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and out of that you are sending these rockets of desires, and that all the do-wants are being gathered by the Source within you, because the Source within you knows who you are and what you really do want. And so when you don't have enough money and you want more money because you don't have enough freedom and you want more freedom, because you don't have enough leverage and you want more leverage, because you don't have enough belief in your ability to choose and you want more belief in your ability to choose. In other words, all day, every day, you're honing from life this creation of who you really are. And so we explained to you that there's this vibrational reality that exists. But most of you are not up to speed with your vibrational reality because you have awareness of what is that keeps you from being up to speed with your vibrational reality. And most of you are offering the majority of your vibration based upon what you're observing of what has been allowed by you to manifest, rather than based upon what's in your vortex, because it's nebulous to you. It hasn't come into view for you quite yet. You're just learning that you are vibrational beings. And so we talked for quite a while about this vortex. We waved Esther's arm around and pointed at the floor, and we said there's a vibrational reality, and it's real, and it will reveal itself to you. But somehow that vibration has to be translated through your awarenesses into something that is meaningful to you. Now, a writer sort of gets that, because the idea wasn't there. Put the characters in. The idea wasn't there. In other words, knowing what you want a successful book, want to tell a story, have something that you want to say. Intention going into it. And then suddenly, you don't know why. We do, but you usually don't know why. You've found alignment with what's there. And when you least expect it, which only means when you're trying least to bang it into place, then an idea just sort of wafts into your experience. And so we began wanting to explain to you how the vibrational reality could more than just waft into your experience as ideas flow into your mind, but could be revealed in the form of other people who are bringing with them concepts and money and backing and experience. In other words, all kinds of tangible things can be realized by you and are supposed to be being realized by you day by day by day, moment by moment by moment. So we began wanting to find a way to explain to you how you could translate this nebulous to you very vivid and real to us, vibrational reality into something that's meaningful and real and that other people can see. So that it's not just a dream of a beautiful car, it's in your driveway and others are seeing it and you're enjoying driving it. So it's not just the dream of a wonderful relationship, it's someone you're walking through life with, you're having a good time, you're laughing and playing and moving forward together. And so we began talking about your point of attraction. For a while we called it your grid, sort of like the framework of a house that's there, but it's going to fill in with more and more detail. More of the pixels are going to fill in as you find more belief, more expectation, more vibrational alignment with it. And so we began talking a lot about your point of attraction. And that brought us back round to something that we'd been telling you years ago about the different emotions on this emotional chart. The emotions that indicate to you how wide your gap is between who you really are and who you're letting yourself be, or how narrow the gap is, maybe even non-existent, how in alignment or in resistance you are to all that you've become. So now we're talking about your point of attraction. We began describing when you're on what we are calling this high-flying disc, when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, when you're feeling elation, when you're feeling clarity, when you're feeling fun or love, there's no variance in your, right now, in your body frequency and the frequency of your source, of that which you call God, of your vibrational reality. And when there's no variance in that frequency, then the ideas flow to you. No writer's block, the ideas flow. Ideas about everything flow. Your timing in traffic, your timing in conversation, your timing in the marketplace, your timing in buying a lottery ticket, your timing in everything, your timing in the way you talk to your kids and the timing of talking with your kids. Everything is enhanced when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, when you are in sync with that high vibration, the frequency that matches the frequency of your vortex. But if you're ornery, then that's a whole other point of attraction. So we began trying to make this, your point of attraction, feel real to you. Are you on the high-flying disc where wonderful things are flowing to you? Or are you on the ornery disc? Well, how would you know you're on the ornery disc? You feel ornery. And there's plenty of ornery people around you. It's like everywhere you go, someone ornery shows up until you convince yourself that this is an ornery city, or this is an ornery establishment, this is an ornery planet, or this is an ornery. And all it is a world that is delivering to you predominantly the frequency that you are outputting, because what you put out is what's coming back to you. So as we began describing these discs, Esther said it's like the seven dwarfs. There's the grumpy, and there's the sleepy, and there's the bashful. And Esther got up to about 200 dwarfs as she's thinking about all of the possibilities. But we don't want you to focus so much upon where you are, as we want you to be aware that you can change where you are vibrationally. But when you're in the midst of it, that's the hard time to change it. In other words, once you're already ornery, it's kind of too late. You've already jumped out of the airplane and you already don't have a parachute. Just relax. It'll be over in a little bit. So then we began describing to you that when you go to bed at night, when you go to sleep, when your consciousness ceases flowing through this physical apparatus, your point of attraction gets a rest. The momentum of the thoughts that you've been thinking slows and stops. And when you wake up, you have an opportunity to start the momentum the way you want it. But you can't just jump right back into your life, because you'll just pick up the momentum right where it was, and you'll just jump right back on the familiar disc where you are, and your point of attraction won't shift much. And then conversations like these will just annoy you, because it feels to you that you're not thinking your thoughts. It feels to you that your thoughts are thinking you. It doesn't feel to you that you're choosing who comes to you. It feels to you that they're choosing coming to you, and that you need to protect yourself from those that might come sometimes. But after a little while, if every morning when you wake up, you acknowledge, hey, I'm starting new today. I've pushed the reset button, and I can find a thought that feels good to me, and I can hold it long enough that a little momentum will go. And as you show yourself your ability to choose the direction of your thought, more important, to choose the emotion that you would like to feel, and then practice it until law of attraction says, yes, that's who you are, you own that, here's more. Yes, that's who you are, you own that, here's more. Here's more, here's more, here's more, here's more. Until you begin to develop a deliberate stability of where you stand, you see. So it's from that position. We would not try to write a book until we had at least spent 30 days knowing that we were stable on the high-flying disc. We would not go on Match.com until we knew, because if you go before you're on the high-flying disc, you'll get matched up with somebody who's on the disc where you are, and you won't like